Hey guys, it's Trushang, your host for this channel. In today's video, I'm going to discuss how an overseas dentist can become a permanent resident of Canada. So stay tuned till the end of this video so that you'll come to know whether you are eligible to get a permanent residency of Canada or not. Guys, you have every reason to rely on my content because I myself have applied for the express entry and I am in the express entry pool with 478 CRS scores. If you know the CRS score distribution, then the last FSW, Federal Skilled Worker Draw for all program had happened in the December and the cutoff was 469 points. So 478 is a reasonable score, and I'm going to tell you the magical tips how you can get the scores which you might need to get an ITA from the IRCC. So without having any further ado, let's get straight into it. In today's video, I'm going to discuss various parameters such as your age, your marital status, your IELTS scores, your educational credential evaluation, work experience, and I'm going to discuss each and every parameter in detail so that you'll come to know whether you'll be eligible to apply for that or not. So let's kick off our discussion. Firstly, I'm going to show you the CRS score distribution for each and every point. So now let me just dive you through the IRCC website. Just a moment. I'm going to share my screen with you, and here we go. So in Google, we will type IRCCIC score breakdown. And this is comprehensive. Okay, here we go. So if you can check here, this is the comprehensive ranking system criteria, and there are four main criteria which are age, level of education, official language proficiency. English and French both are official language of Canada. So if you're proficient in either one, you are good to go. I mean, you can claim points for that. And Canadian work experience, most important thing. But in today's discussion, we are not going to discuss it because a vast majority of subscribers are from outside Canada, so they might not have Canadian work experience or Canadian education, but don't worry about it. You don't need Canadian education and Canadian experience in order to get the ITA. Yes, there are different pathways, but we are going to discuss about Federal Skilled Worker Program only. Guys, you might have a question that there are a lot of pathways such as PNP programs, Atlantic programs to get the nomination, but those programs are not for regulated professions such as dentist, physiotherapist, and many more professional doctors. So here you can see that there are different points for different factors. For instance, for age, you can get 100 points with spouse, and without spouse, you can get 110. This is just a common criteria, and you can see for level of education, you can get 140 points with your spouse and 150 without a spouse. 150 is for PhD degree, but for dentist, we can get a little less than that. And official language proficiency, we are going to discuss in detail. So let's just scroll down our page, and here we can see you can claim points for your spouse as well. You can get at maximum 40 points for your spouse, but I want you to make your profile stronger so that you might not need these points to qualify for your spouse. Now let's discuss breakdown of each and every point. Let's first discuss about age. Now here you can see that for the age of 20 to 29, you can get 100 points, which is the maximum point if you are applying with a spouse. And if you are applying without a spouse, you can get 110. So guys, this is the maximum point you might get. Beyond the age of 29, your point would be reduced. For 30, your point would be 95, and for 31, it would be 90, and so on. So the best age to apply for Canadian immigration is up to the age of 29. After that, you will lose your points for your age. So remember, guys, this is the golden tip. If you are turning 28, then you need to be very careful because you have only 1 year to get the maximum point for your age, because after 29 you will be on the receiving end. Now let's scroll down a bit further and discuss about education. So here you can check, or let me just put it over here. I hope now it's visible. So guys, yeah, here you can see that for dentistry, our degree comes under master degree or professional degree needed to practice in a licensed profession. Here you can see the dentistry, veterinary medicine, optometry, law, and medicine and pharmacy. So here you can check that with a spouse, you can get maximum 126 points, but without a spouse, you can get 135 points. So in age, again, you're getting 10 points more if you're applying without your spouse. Here in education, again, you will get 9 points more if you are applying without your spouse. But if you are applying with your spouse, then you can have a chance to get maximum 40 points, which we will discuss later. Now, let's discuss about the most important factor, and that is IELTS. Guys, you can get points for age. It's fine. You can get points for education because all you need to do is to send your transcript to WAIS or any other educational credential evaluation institution. They will reward the point for you. But the most crucial thing is about IELTS. I've seen many students, they are struggling to get CLB 9, which is 8 in listening and 7 in rest of the other modules. If you won't get 8777, you won't get compatible score, which makes you eligible for the express entry profile. I myself have appeared for the test on numerous occasions and eventually ended up scoring CLB 10. And that's the reason I'm in a pool with 478 points, guys. And I'm going to share the magical tips how you can get that. So stay tuned, and I'm going to tell you what are your scores after having these parameters in your favor. So let's discuss it. Let me just scroll this over here, and here we go. So here you can see that CLB means Canadian Language Benchmark. There are two tests which are valid by IRCC. One is IELTS and second is CELPIP. But CELPIP is less popular in India. However, these days they are conducting this test in Chandigarh and in Delhi, if I'm not wrong. But as of now, we just only focus about IELTS because you can find tons of resources for IELTS, and there are lots of proficient tutors for this same. So guys, let's discuss about it. So here you can see that CLB 9 means 8 in listening and 7 in reading, speaking, and writing. You can get maximum 128 points, but that is for CLB 10. Now, what does CLB 10 mean? CLB 10 means 8.5 or more in listening, 8 in reading, 7.5 in speaking and writing. Excuse me. Okay. So CLB 10 means you need to score 8.5 in listening, 8 in reading, and 7.5 in rest of the modules. So you can get 32 point each for each skill. So you can get maximum 128 points for your if you're applying with a spouse, and if you're applying without a spouse, again you'll get 136 points, and that is for CLB 10, guys. These days, if you score CLB 10, then the chances are really good that you'll get nomination straight away in the earlier draws. But don't worry, with CLB 9, you're still eligible. You need to wait for some time, but it's a decent score. So again, you need to calculate this point, and this point is for each skill. Remember, guys. So if let's say if you get 8.5 in listening, 8 in reading, but in rest of the modules you'll get 7. So your points would be calculated in such a way. And how to calculate that point, that I'm going to show you at the end of this video. This is all about IELTS. Now let's discuss about the second language. See, guys, if you are proficient in English and still if your score is little bit low, then you can opt to learn a French language, which will add on your score. But again, it takes a time. It takes more than 3 to 4 months to get the basic level passed. So if you have time and if you have energy, then you can do it. And as I told you that for Canadian work experience, you can get the maximum point for this. But the thing is, most of us are living outside Canada, so we might not have Canadian work experience, we might not have Canadian education, but still we have fair chances of getting the nomination. So this is all about age, this is about education, this is about IELTS, and now we will discuss about the foreign work experience. Okay, so if you can see here, just a moment, let me scroll down further. This is foreign work experience. It means work experience in your home country, in our home country. Let's say if I'm working in India, then that is considered as a foreign work experience. If you're living in Bangladesh, then it would be your foreign work. For no work experience, you are not eligible to create your Express Entry profile. At least you need a 1 year of work experience to create your Express Entry profile. So with 1 or 2 year of work experience, you'll get this much point, and if you have CLB 9, then you'll get 25 points. But again, if you have 3 years of work experience, you'll get 25 points. And if you have 3 years of work experience with CLB 9 or more, then you'll get 50 points, guys. Here also your language impacts a lot. So if you have 3 or more, if you have, let's say one person has 3 years of work experience, one person has 5 years of work experience, but both will gain the same points, because it doesn't matter whether you have 10 years of experience or 3 years of experience. Yes, it matters if you have 1 year of work experience or if you have 2 years of work experience. But once you cross the 3 years, it does not impact your score system. But again, you need to score CLB 9 to grab the maximum points. So guys, these are the common criteria which you need to follow. Now, let's calculate your points with this system. So stay tuned. So let me just close this page and we will open up the CRS calculator. Let's say CRS calculator. I will calculate the point for both single person and married person so that it would be easy for you to understand. Remember guys, if you have any queries at any point of time, I'm happy to help you, because I'm like you, I had done all the things on by myself only, so I would be best person to help you. Why to waste your hard-earned money? Why to give this much money to consultant when you're doing this process on your own? So let's calculate your so CRS. The first question is, what is your marital status? So in this scenario, I'm assuming that you are single, and I'm taking my own example. Let's say, what is your marital status? I'm engaged, but I'm not married. So I will write here, I can select never married or single. And then the second portion, if you have selected married, then the second question would be, will your spouse will come with you to Canada? But let's just skip it for time being, and let's discuss on the further points. The third question would be, second would be skip because of spouse. The third question is, how old are you? So you can select your own age. Mine is 29. So let's say I'm 29 years of age. And what is your level of education? So here you need to enter your level of education. You need to specify you're on Canadian degree certificate or not. But most of us might not have the Canadian degree. So in that case, what we need to do, we need to do the educational credential evaluation. We need to send our transcript and our degree certificate to some regulating authorities which are there in Canada, such as WES, World Educational Services, IQAS, ICAS, and they'll charge money, guys. They'll charge, I think, 200 to 225 Canadian dollars, and they will evaluate your degree. Based on their report, you'll get the point. If you haven't done the assessment, then you won't get point for it. So guys, you before starting this application, make sure that you have done your educational credential evaluation. I'm going to prepare a separate video for that. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. And once I discuss with this particular concern, I'll come back to it. So assuming you have done ECA, you need to select in your ECA, it will come like master degrees or professional degrees needed to practice. Then the next question would be, have you earned Canadian degree certificate? If you have earned, you can write yes. But for me, or for most of us, we did not have any Canadian certificate. And choose the best answer to describe this level of education. Oh, okay, sorry, I just selected yes. That's the reason the question pop up. Now let's say no, because most of us might not have the Canadian degrees, diploma or certificate. And then comes to Canadian official language, which are English and French. So the first question is, are your test results are less than 2 years old? See guys, IELTS certificates is valid for only 2 years. If your score expires before you get ITA, then you would be in the serious trouble. So make sure that your IELTS card has enough validity. So here I will say yes. And then they will ask for the particular test results. First, they will ask, which language test did you take for your first official language? Then I'll say, obviously, IELTS. If you have selected CELPIP, then you can write CELPIP. And this TF Canada and TCF Canada is for French. So if you have done French, you can type that also. Then you need to type your individual scores. I'm typing mine, but you can say, see, if you get 7.5 or 9, you will get the same points. But for 7 and 7.5, you'll get the difference point. In this example, I'm going to focus on CLB 10. CLB 10 means 7.5 to 9, listening 8.5 to 9, reading 8 to 9, and writing 7.5 to 9. I'm assuming this course that if that you have scored CLB 10, but let's say in this example I have entered my age. You can enter, I will enter my own scores as well. I have got the same score. I have got 8 in speaking, I've got 8.5 in listening, I've got 8 in reading, but in writing I've got only 7. So let's say 7. Now, do you have other language results? It means, do you have any French language results or something like that? Then I'll say no, not applicable. And then it's about work experience. So in last 10 years, how many skill work experience in Canada do you have? So do you have any Canadian work experience or not? Well, we don't have any Canadian experience, so we can say not applicable to us, done or less than a year. And the second question would be, in last 10 years, how many total years of a foreign work experience do you have? In this, you need to select whatever you have. But as I discussed earlier, whether you have 3 years or 10 years, you'll get the same points. So type whatever is applicable to you. In my case, it's 3 year or more. I'm typing that only. And then the next question is, do you have a certificate of qualification from a Canadian province, territory, or body? No. I assume we don't have any job offer or something like that. We don't have any provincial nominee interest or something like that. As I told you before, that dentists are not visible with PNP programs and other Atlantic immigration programs. So let's select no over here. And then it's about job offer, valid job. Next question is about your job offer. You may find lots of people fraudulent who offer who offer you job offer, but they are not supported by labor market impact assessment, that is LMIA. And if it is not assessed by them, then you won't get point for it. So don't trap in this fraudulence. And here we select no, and then again they will ask you, do you have a nomination certificate from province? Again we say no and yes. Next comes, do you have your spouse, common law partner, is a citizen of permanent residence? I assume most of us might not have Canadian spouse. So let's say no. And I'm assuming that we don't have any relatives or blood relatives, brother, sister, or sibling in Canada. So let's say no. And then we calculate our score. So this is the breakdown of our score. You can see I'll get highest point for my age, that is 110, and for level of education 135. For PhD you will get 150, but since we come under the professional body, we will get 135, and for official language we'll get 133 because I got 7 in writing, and rest of the modules I got CLB 10. So this is my human capital factor, and for spouse I won't get any point because I have mentioned that I'm a single person. And then for official language proficiency, it's 0, it's 50 because I've got more than CLB 10. And foreign work experience, since I have 3 years of work experience, I'll get 50 points. So again, the point I'll get in this section would be 100. And I don't have any provincial nomination, so I won't get any point. If you have provincial nominee, if someone have nomination from any province, they'll get additional 600 points, but it is not the case with dentist. And this is the exact score which I have right now in the pool, and that is 478. I'm a 29-year-old. I have got CLB 10 in 3 modules and CLB 9 in 1 module. I have 3 years of work experience. I have my ECA done. So these are the 4 main criteria, guys, and you're good to go. Now, let me show you quickly how you can get the points with your spouse. So we just do some editing. Let's say here we can say we are married, and how old are you? It would be the same. Married, and if your spouse is your spouse or common law partner a citizen or permanent residency of India? No. If you have your spouse was Canadian citizens, you can write yes, and I mean he or she can sponsor you. Will your spouse or common law partner come with you to Canada? Yes, you can say yes, obviously, because your spouse will accompany you. And then you need to say how old are 29 years of old. What is your level of education? For dentist, it's the same. And have you earned Canadian degree? No. Everything would be same. This is also same. My point would be same, assuming we have all this. And do you have any? No. In last 10 years of work experience, no, I don't have any. In last 10 years of how many foreign work experience do you have? That is the same. The rest of the things remain same. And if we calculate our point, but we need to add some detail of our spouse. Let's say, do your spouse or common law have at least one brother living? No. And what is the highest level of education your common law? So if your spouse have bachelor degree, you can write here, diploma degree, whatever you wish to write, you can write. Let's say if you want, if your spouse is bachelor degree, has bachelor degree, you can write bachelor degree. And in last 10, how many skill work experience can I see? Guys, here it is written in Canada. So in Canada, your spouse might not have any experience. So you can straight away say that. And did your spouse common language test? If your spouse has not appeared for the test, you can say no, not applicable, let's say, and then calculate our point. So here we go. The point would be 459. Why? Because your spouse has not given IELTS exam, and your point would be reduced. Your 9 point would be reduced for education. Your 10 points would be reduced for your age. So you need to be very careful. You need to gain more points. Then you should ask your spouse to give IELTS exam. In same category, if I add the language results, let's say here IELTS, and if we break down her score, if she gets 666 even, let's say 6.5, listening 6, reading 6.5, writing, let's say 6. So again, your score would be 471. So here you can get the point for education, your spouse education. Here you get 8 points for your spouse education and 12 for her language proficiency. So guys, it's always best to ask your spouse to get the test done and do the ECA so that you can claim the point for same. I hope I have tried to clear many things, but we need to conclude this talk by having 4 things in our mind. First is age. If you are 29 years of age, up to 29 years of age, you'll get maximum point, and that is 110. If you have 3 years of work experience, you'll get the maximum points. If you have done your ECA, you'll get the 135 points. If you're applying on your own, and if you're applying with your spouse, you'll get 9 point less. And for IELTS with CLB 10, you are good to go. I mean, you can claim up to 481 points. And now let me show you the Crs Draws. I mean CIC Draws, so that you can rely on my talk. Let's say CIC Draws invitations. Okay. So our program is called FSW, that is Federal Skilled Worker Program. Here if you check, these are the number of draws, and okay. So the draw number 179, which was for Canadian experience class, but we will not fall in that category. But what we need to see is we need to check here. If you can check here, then most of the people are in this range, 401 to 450, and that is 43,000 people roughly. But between 481 to 490, only to 493 people, and they will straight away get nomination because there are pretty less people in this range. So still, if you have a score between 471 to 480, you will have fair chances of getting nomination in second or third row. And if you have scores between 461 to 470, still you have time, because I hope if the things are pretty fine by the end of this year, then they'll nominate the candidates who have scores as low as 460. So this is all about today's episode. I hope I have cleared many things, but still, if you have any doubts, then feel free to ask me, and I would love to help you. Thanks a lot, guys, and have a great time.